All right. Well, welcome to the first ever Star Fox Media podcast. Today, our guest is Jim Ellis, who's a film producer and founder of Vista Films International, Inspired Images, and his latest project is the Film Hub, which is a combination of co working space, dedicated offices, and professional audio and video recording facilities located in Vista, California. Thanks
There's no better place, buddy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on today.
I'm happy to be here, and I'm glad to be number one here.
Yes, first is definitely not the worst.
No, not at all.
So,
Yeah, you know what? I just heard that Vista is the seventh best place to live, according to Forbes magazine.
seventh.
Seventh. I
I
don't
mean,
know what 1 through 6
This
is,
tiny
but
little town's number 7.
yeah.
Well,
So
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I did hear we had something like the best weather in the country. It was
Climactic Wonderland.
Magic Wonderland. Well, thanks for coming on today. Jim here has been in the film industry for a pretty good long time. He owns this office building here, started it, that we all work in. So I just wanted to kind of bring him on here so we could hear more about the building, more about him as a businessman, and see kind of how this all works together. And so I guess today we should start with your background. So how did you get started in the film industry?
Well, I did a lot of commercial work. Started in Florida. Actually, I started in the Virgin Islands. We got involved with a sailing school there who needed training videos. So I was literally strapped to the mast of a sailboat for many months filming, which, I mean, it's not a bad place to be strapped to. It's pretty nice down there. Water's beautiful. And that's how the company got started, and training videos. And then we got into commercial work. But actually, you know, the whole idea of getting into film started in Mykonos, Greece, which is a little island off the coast. And I was probably 11 years old, and my father handed me a 8mm camera. And I took this thing and looked through the lens. And I don't know if you know much about Mykonos, but it's all these little alleyways that just spiral up the hill. And I just passed down an aisle on one of those little paths, and there was a beautiful windmill at the top, and it was spinning. And I'm capturing this imagery thinking, I can take this home. This is so cool. And that's really where I thought film was pretty neat, and I thought I would get into it. So that's how it got started.
Well, and then you actually had the experience of producing your own feature-length film as well. So how did that go? How was that experience?
Yeah, that was fun. We've done one so far. We've got 5 more we want to do, or maybe more. But it started with meeting a gentleman from the Dominican Republic. His name is Elias Acosta. He's here in the building as well. A brilliant cinematographer. And he actually called Inspired Images Company, which is the parent company for the Film Hub, and looking for some kind of equipment. But he actually called the wrong number. It was good for us because we had similar ideas on films that we wanted to make. So within minutes on the phone, I said, you know, you and I need to go have lunch somewhere. And we sat in a sushi place for 4 hours talking about this film projects. And it was pretty neat because it happened pretty quickly. We had an idea for a film. We wanted to both do inspirational films because I don't, you know, if you ever look at the MGM logo, it has Latin words on it. It's art for art's sake, right? Well, I believe art is a lot bigger than that. I think art is to develop people to their fullest potential. That's what, when you walk away from an art piece, that's what it should do, invigorate you, inspire you to do your best. And so that's the kind of films we wanted to make, both of us. Within 6 months, we had a script completed. It was a true story. We actually interviewed the woman and everything. Within 9 months, we were in pre-production, and within 12 months, we had the film in the can. That's how fast it went.
That's amazing.
You know, it's just when things are the right. I've waited a long time for certain projects, you know, because timing is everything. And the timing was just right for this sucker. It just went off, and, you know, within 2 years, the thing was distributed and by E1 Entertainment. And so it was quite an experience. We had it was starring Michael Madsen, who Elias knew personally, and it was just a great time together. You know, that's what I think I love about the filmmaking process is the teamwork and you know, everyone's developed their skills to such a high level that you depend on each other for that. And it was just everybody doing their best, and even Michael Madsen was just at the end of the week. He goes, "Boy, I never expected that," you know, because he saw some things that perhaps he had never seen before, as far as people working together, and it was a great experience.
Film is interesting because it's probably one of the most collaborative of the arts that I can think of, and I think you were touching on that. Would you have any advice to someone who's trying to get into the film industry?
Yeah. First of all, I think God's put every person on this earth for a purpose, right? And you know, I guess it's just your job to figure out what that is. And once you do, you just got to run.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no stopping, right? You just know what you're supposed to do. And a lot of times it's, you know, what you like, which is good, because you can make money at anything, really. Mm-hmm. And my advice would be figure out what that purpose is and then develop your skill level to be the best in the industry, because you can sell yourself. I mean, people will hire you if your skill level is there, and you'll work wherever you want to work. So that's the challenge, is to believe in, you know, that passion, and to the point of where, I mean, you talk to musicians, right? They're developing, they spend hours and hours a day. They're very focused. So I think that's what it takes. You know, if you want to do feature films, even commercial work, that's what it's going to take.
Definitely. So finding where it is that you're meant to be and honing your craft, spending the time, putting in the hours, and making it work.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So you're making this film. How did that transition into creating production facilities?
Well, San Diego went through a rough period of time as far as production goes. It dropped off really badly. Commercial work did. To the point where when Elias and I got together and decided to do a film in San Diego, people told us it was not possible. There wasn't the facilities here. There wasn't the talent here. You cannot do it. So anytime somebody tells me I can't do something,
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, challenge accepted. So, and Elias has the same attitude. So we did it anyway. And there is a lot of talented people here, and there are some good facilities here. But like I said, the industry had dropped off so much that Lauren was trying to figure out a different way. Lauren, my daughter, works for us, and she was trying to figure out another way to use our talents, you know. And so she actually came up with the idea of the film hub, and she wanted to bring together all the artists, collaborate, so they can collaborate together and work together, and perhaps, you know, lead the industry in what's being produced. You know, Hollywood's was a leader at one point in what they produced, and so I think this time it's a new time, it's a new day, it's a new age. I think with the equipment now that anybody can afford, there's a lot of things we're developing to make that happen. But I think the Film Hub really came out of Lauren's. As soon as I heard the idea from her, you know, developing a co-working space that's niched for filmmakers, we jumped in the car and went downtown Vista to look for a building. That's how much we believed in the idea. And we actually found the building, but it wasn't for sale. So, you know, a lot of amazing stories. But like I said before, once you figure out that your purpose and what needs to be done, all the pieces fell into place, and investors, the building did open up, and here we are sitting in this beautiful facility today, because you just don't quit when you get going. And she designed it, you know, laid it all out. At some point we're going to franchise it probably, but.
And it's for any of you who haven't seen it, you should definitely check out the Film Hub. Come by here in Vista, California. It's a beautiful building. So how did you said that, you found the direction and you went in that direction. Was this the first time you had production facilities, or like how did you find that purpose?
Oh, as far as developing the film hub,
Yes.
well, I just knew when she said it was
Yeah.
right. That would be the answer for us to continue to do the films I wanted to do.
Mhm.
The film hub would sustain, the income for us, and we could venture off. And we do want to, the other side of the film hub is to develop an industry in this area like it was. I mean, it's been here before. So redeveloping it to bring talented artists to this area to work together. And, like folks like you, that have just collaborated with people in the film hub and are developing some really neat stuff. So I think that was exactly what we wanted to see happen, and it's going to continue in that direction. I don't know. Did I answer the question?
Yeah. No, that's perfect. So, what has been your biggest challenge so far in creating this? Has there been any roadblocks? Is there anything you're working on right now to kind of grow it?
Yeah. Well, the biggest challenge is it's never been done before, so we don't have any examples of how to develop, what we're doing, and make it work for everyone. And so that's been the challenge. And Lauren has an incredible business mind, probably better than mine. And so she, myself, and a few others have really, brainstormed it and thought through what would be the best for artists, what would be the best for producers, what do they need? See, so from that standpoint, it's making it easier because we know what the end result is. We want to make a place where they can bring the cost of production down, where they can be inspired when they go to work and produce their greatest work. And I think we're accomplishing that. So it's just, ironing out the details.
Definitely. That's awesome. Well, then what are the next steps? What's the plan? Where are we going next?
Yeah, that's a dangerous subject,
Yeah.
because plans can cost a few bucks.
Indeed.
Um, but yeah, we've got a lot of things we want to develop. I think one thing that you and I have discussed is, of course, the film festival for Vista, and I think that the city would really benefit from it. The business owners would really benefit from it. It's such a great little town for a film festival, so I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
working with the city and you on that. One thing we want to also develop is a distribution model for producers where they have a rock solid distribution model for films or commercial work. And so we're working on that. We want to develop something called the Film Hub Pub, which
I love the sound of this.
yeah. So the Film Hub Pub is really to bring writers together, and to just brainstorm ideas and inspire each other. And so that's in the works, maybe sooner than later.
Yeah. I remember there was something historical about, like, the coffee shop or the pub where writers would just sit down and work. I think it was like in Europe, there was like all of the greatest works were kind of like classical literature.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them they were thought up in a random coffee shop in Paris, and things like that. So is that what you're trying to?
I believe that's got to be true because, when people are relaxed, food for one, relaxes people, of course, drinks, just to have a casual atmosphere. I remember my cousin used to work doing sound at Warner Brothers, and we went to the cafeteria, and these guys are talking about the script to this major motion picture and asking each other what they think the next scene should be or how it should be changed. And I was just amazed that, they're writing notes on little napkins, and that's how these films get developed sometimes. And so is certainly the idea, is to develop that kind of atmosphere where people can get together and help each other. And that's the other big thing about the Film Hub, is that we don't when we first thought about this idea, we thought about, well, what about the competition of bringing all these like-minded producers together? And we just decided that it's not going to be a competition because we're going to develop a cooperation rather than a competition. See, and that's what it's working really well because every producer is niched really to different. And I believe there's plenty of work out there, like I said, if you've got the skills. So it's working really well to see people helping each other for each other's success. And that's certainly a big part of the Film Hub.
Well, I think as someone who's been here for over a year in the Film Hub, technically before it was open.
Yeah, our first resident.
Yeah, I can definitely say that it has worked that way. Like, Star Fox Media, the company, the team was kind of built in this building.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty much exactly what you're talking about is actually how it kind of played out. And,
Yeah.
And that's just Star Fox Media. I've also worked with some film companies, and I think there's going to be a lot of overlap there. We're all going to be able to collaborate, work together,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully make something great.
Yeah.
And what you were saying about Vista, like, trying to grow the industry here, bring in talented individuals, I think it's kind of one of those, if you build it, they will come kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, Vista is, I would say it's kind of like a city that does have an art background. Like, they definitely, if anyone's been to, like, the downtown Vista Village area, there's strange sculptures everywhere. There's little art shops. There's a lot of things to do that are like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think something like an arts festival with the film festival built into it and all that, I think that would be a way for Vista the city to kind of show what it's made out of and, and be able to highlight kind of the different things that the creators here are making. I think
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a great opportunity.
Yeah, and the nice thing is we've got some great people in here. That atmosphere. Everyone's bringing that same attitude. That cooperation instead of competition, and that's something I learned from a man who I just found out he just died recently. But he taught me about that. He said, and his business was built on teaching CEOs how to build that, atmosphere. So there is no competition, but it's helping each other to succeed. And it's worked for IBM and it's worked for a lot of big companies. And that's something we wanted to bring here. And it's really cool to see people here have that same mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's going to get bigger and bigger. It's going to be a world-class location for production for sure. I think a lot of innovative ideas will come out of here that others will copy because of that kind of attitude. We're setting the standard pretty high. And so, yeah, it's fun to watch and see what your guys are doing and others. So
it's very interesting because I think the way that you put that, it's almost like recreating the studio model. And the reason that that Hollywood's so successful in that collaborative space where everyone works in the same areas, films are very expensive to make. So if you can remove some of the obstacles, you can build something once and let other people use it and collaborate like that. I think, it gives Vista a leg up over the competition for filmmakers.
Yeah. So, and then we want to continue to, the other thing we want to develop is classes. So people can develop their skill levels. So Elias and I are putting together classes now to teach students, the art of filmmaking and really the drive it takes. Because it's part of the aspect of it is it takes a lot of drive. There can be a lot of obstacles, and how do you develop that skill? That's a skill too, right? And I worked as the executive producer and producer on the film we did, and it can be there's a lot of pressure, because there's a lot of people depending on each other, and so we'll teach, how to do that and all these things. So we'll have these classes here, and then we have 5 more films we want to do, outside of the Film Hub, really. So we'll develop those here as well. So we're going to start writing pretty soon.
Sounds beautiful. Any sneak previews? Anything subject matter wise or anything that you can share, or is it They're all probably pretty top secret at this point.
Yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, I'm not sure which direction we're going yet, or I'd let you know for sure.
Okay, no worries. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Just want to thank you so much for coming in and answering all these questions and taking the time to be here.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So, again, it's the Film Hub in Vista. If you're ever in the area, feel free to come by and check it out. Jim's here probably more than he should be, so you can meet the man, the legend in person. So, thanks you very much for tuning in.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you.